What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be taking a closer look at the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's fight in Las Vegas at 160 pounds between Serhii Bohachuk and Shane Mosley Jr. Before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video and go down to the bottom of your screen pinned in the comment section is a link to become a JSB Insider. With this membership, you become a member of our world famous Johnny Says Boxing Professional Betting Discord. We just surpassed 500 VIPs. You could either join here on YouTube or on Patreon. It's a couple bucks a month. Click that link to find out more. In another week chock full of boxing events, if you've been following along, we are up. We hit on our first 2 tickets of the weekend with more tickets to come. This card, we will be featuring the main event in Las Vegas between Bohachuk and Shane Mosley Jr. Shane Mosley Jr. last fought in a decision loss to Jesus Ramos Jr. We know Ramos Jr., a big puncher, was coming up from 54 to 60, and Shane Mosley Jr. lost a wide unanimous decision on the cards. We last saw Bohachuk in a fight in which he came in as the slight underdog against Dubois, and a lot of people picked against Bohachuk. I was one of them. It was a close fight early, and a lot of people were saying Bohachuk was done from his fight before that against Brandon Adams. Bohachuk looked like he was fading out. We know about his style, pressure, front forward, takes a lot of shots, but volume. And somewhere along the middle rounds of that fight against Dubois, Bohachuk kept coming, kept turning it on. He didn't look like a wash fighter to me, and he won the mid to late rounds and won a majority decision. This fight is very interesting for the landscape of 160 pounds. To refresh everyone's memory, it's not the deepest division at 160. We know the current belt holders, Carlos Adames coming off a dominant victory against Amo Williams. Erislandy Lara, the forever youthful, never aging, now in his early to mid 40s. And then the much troubled as of late, Janibek Alimhanaleh. And then the IBF is vacant. We know Alimhanaleh has been shelved due to failed drug tests. There's rumors of him going up to 168. We know Adames has been talking about going up to 168 to fight Shiraz again. And Lara, like I said, he's in his 40s. So the division is ripe for the taking for new blood, people to come out of nowhere and stake claim. It's hard to call a 35-year-old in Mosley Jr. and a 31-year-old in Bohachuk new blood, but my point is, whoever wins this fight positions themselves for potentially a massive fight, if not a title eliminator or a world title shot. So in this video, what we're gonna do is break down both fighters' careers. We're gonna talk a little bit about how they go about their business, and like always, stay tuned to the end of the video. That's where I'll be going over the current Las Vegas odds, and I'll be giving you my prediction, telling you where to put your money. The year was 2017. I was in Brisbane, Australia, and I was at the Manny Pacquiao Jeff Horn card, and on that undercard was Shane Mosley Jr., a fight in which he was supposed to win. He was a big favorite. He was young in his career. It was almost 10 years ago now, and he lost a split decision to a 10-0 Australian kid. And at that time, I thought, you know, my generation, I watched his dad, Shane, fight his entire career, one of the legends, and I was comparing the son to Shane. I was like, he's not going to do much in boxing. Fast forward a decade, boy, did he prove me wrong. He's turned into a tough, legit, gritty professional. He has losses on his resume, but he's never been stopped. He has a high fight IQ. He's a great athlete. Whenever your dad is a Hall of Famer, you know you have good pedigree. Shane Mosley Jr. is at his best when he's using his jab, when things are happening at his own pace, when he's operating at his skill set. It's going to be interesting if he's going to be able to use that jab the entire fight to keep Bohachuk off of him. We know in his opponent, the Ukrainian fighter Serhii Bohachuk, is a guy who just never steps back, always comes forward, always comes in shape. He's settling into a new division at 160 pounds. Like I said, we saw him come from behind to steal a victory in a fight where he was up against it, and on the cards, they had him down, and he did what he always does, stayed in the fight, kept coming, outworked him, outpointed him, and got himself a decision. His only losses are 2 to Brandon Adams, and then one to Vergil Ortiz. I thought he beat Vergil. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm upset with that decision towards Verge because I picked Verge to win that fight and I won money on him. But Vergil got knocked down in the first, knocked down in the 8th, never really had Bohachuk in trouble, and that fight could have gone either way. The scorecards were razor close. I know I'm not the only one sitting here thinking that Bohachuk should have got the nod. Whenever you get dropped twice and you don't do any real significant damage to your opponent and you still get the nod, you're going to have some controversy. Either way, Bohachuk didn't get the decision that night, and he has 3 losses. He's trying to make up for lost time. He's been the more active of fighters, and at 31 years old, if he goes out there and shows the world again that his output is high, his volume is high, his pressure is high, and he could push his opponent back and brutalize his opponent in the pocket and force Shane somehow to fight his fight, I think Bohachuk, it's not crazy to say that he's close to another world title in another division. If you would have told me that 2 fights ago after the second Brandon Adams fight, I would have called you crazy. But we know this is boxing and crazier things have happened. Right now, I want to take a closer look at Shane Mosley Jr. and see what he's been up to in his career. Shane Mosley Jr. is 22-5. Of his 22 wins, 12 of them come by way of knockout. Of his 5 losses, he has never been stopped. Out of 1,994 fighters in the world at 160 pounds, he's ranked 27. He carries in the ring 157 pro rounds and has a 55% career knockout to win ratio. The 35-year-old American is a 6'1" orthodox fighter with a 77-inch reach. He was born in Pomona, California, but calls Las Vegas, Nevada, USA home. We last saw him fight Ramos Jr., 23-1, lost to UD in the 12th. Danny Jacobs, 37-4, won a UD in the 10th. Conley, 17-5, stopped him in the 6th. Ballard, 21-1, stopped him in the 7th. Lozano, 33-10, won a UD decision in the 10th. Shane Mosley Jr., if you ask me, is a guy who's actually superseded his expectations. I told you the story of 2017 when I was at his fight. He lost in 2014 early on in his career as well. He has good wins if you look at the names. Danny Jacobs, but where was Jacobs at in his career? By no means was this a prime Danny. This was a Danny on his way out, but it's a good name to have on the career, the Gabe Rosado name. But then again, you know, Rosado, look what he's done in his career, a lot of wins and losses, and we know Rosado's a tough guy, and it's a good name to have on your resume as well. Shane Mosley Jr., will he ever become a world champion at 35? The time is now. He has a lot of skills, but in my opinion, there isn't anything that he does extremely well, extremely better than anyone he fights. He beats the guys he's supposed to beat, and in terms of step-ups, we really haven't seen a major step-up. And would you call it this? I think so. Will his jab be good enough to beat Bohachuk? Only time will tell. Will he be able to win rounds? When you look at punches thrown per round, Bohachuk averages almost 30 more punches a round thrown than Mosley Jr., so that's something to think about. He's going to want to have to stay on the outside. He's going to want to have to pick and pop, counter Bohachuk, and use the entire ring. Will his 35-year-old legs be durable enough, be conditioned enough to do that against a guy in Bohachuk that we know never stops coming forward? Right now, I do want to take a look at Bohachuk and see what he's been up to in his career. Bohachuk is 27-3. Of his 27 wins, 24 of them come by way of knockout. Of his 3 losses, he's been stopped once. Out of 1,994 fighters in the world in middleweight, he's ranked number 6. He's fought a career total of 145 pro rounds and carries in the ring an 89% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as El Flaco, and the 31-year-old fighter is from Ukraine. He's a 5'11" orthodox fighter with a 73-inch reach. He was born in Ukraine but calls Los Angeles, California, USA home. We last saw him fight Butiev, 16-1, won a split decision in the 10th. Brandon Adams, 25-4, lost a unanimous decision in the 10th. Michael Fox, 24-4, won a UD in the 10th. Ishmael Davis, 13-1, stopped him in the 6th. The fight before that, he fought Vergil Ortiz. He lost a majority decision. We spoke briefly on it. I challenge you to watch that fight again. I just rewatched it. And once again, I think Bohachuk won that fight. In the comment section below, let me know, who did you score that fight to, Serhii Bohachuk or Vergil Ortiz? After the fight, he did take a lot of damage. So did Vergil. Fighters usually aren't the same guys after fights like that. He then went into the Michael Fox fight, missed weight. The fight was nearly at 160 pounds. Michael Fox was a welterweight coming up to 160 pretty much. I think Bohachuk weighed in at 158, 159, and I think Michael weighed in at 153, 154. And Michael carried his own. A lot of people were picking Bohachuk to win by knockout, and it was one of these things that if Boa doesn't knock Michael out, then he's not the same guy. And I don't know how much of that was people just didn't realize how slick Michael Fox is. You know, use the entire ring, 6'3" guy, lanky, rangy. And in the last round, Michael Fox dropped Bohachuk. It wasn't ruled a knockdown. Do your due diligence. Go look at that last round in the last minute. Wasn't deemed a knockdown, but he found success on a counter with Bohachuk running in with his hands down as he does and clipped him on the chin. So after that performance as well, I just, you know, was scratching my head like maybe Bohachuk is done. Maybe that style finally caught up to him. That pressure forward style, get hit a lot, death by 1,000 cuts sort of thing. He has a high knockout to win ratio, but he's not a one-punch knockout guy. He drowns his opponents. And as of late, he really hasn't been stopping his opponents. We know Mosley Jr. has never been stopped. So before I get into the current Las Vegas odds, I do want to remind everybody, I do live streams every single day. In those live streams, I take your questions. We build parlays together. We talk about our props, dogs of the week. We cover the UFC fights every week as well. Just so you know, in these Stats Don't Lie edited videos, you're only going to get my money line prediction. Wherever you are in the world, let's pull out our betting apps. I did a poll on my Instagram yesterday. Over 2,000 people voted, and of those votes, 64% voted for Serhii Bohachuk to win versus 36% picked Shane Mosley to win. On the money line, Bohachuk is a $1.38 favorite, meaning that if you put 100 on Bohachuk to win, you get your money back plus 38 bucks. Shane Mosley Jr. is a $3.35 dog, meaning 100 on Shane on the money line, you get your money back plus $235. I know a lot of boys are thinking Shane Mosley Jr. is live. It's fair to say he is. 35 years old, he's going to be the taller guy, the bigger guy, the longer reach. What bothers me about Shane is his lack of output and his reliance on his jab and his lack of pressure at times, his lack of urgency at times. He's not going to have to go too far if he's going to want to throw punches because Bohachuk's going to be in his face the entire time. I think we're going to look at a rejuvenated Serhii Bohachuk, the Zuffa contract, the main event, back on his feet after the loss to Brandon Adams, new division. I feel Bohachuk is going to handle Mosley Jr. pretty convincingly. I like Bohachuk here on the money line. I think it's safe to say it's going to go the distance considering Mosley's never been stopped. So if your betting apps have props on will the fight go the distance or Bohachuk on points, I like all of those. This is not an echo chamber. In the comment section below, if you disagree with me, leave your receipts right now. Do you see Mosley Jr. winning this or do you see Serhii Bohachuk winning this? Also, guys, if you haven't seen my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of the main event, world title heavyweight fight in Manchester, England this weekend between the world champion Fabio Wardley and the former world champion, the challenger, Dynamite, Daniel Dubois, stay tuned to the channel because that's coming up right now. What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a closer look at the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's world title fight at heavyweight between two titans in the UK, between the world champion Fabio Wardley and the challenger Daniel Dubois. Guys, before we continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video? And one more thing, pinned in the comment section below is a link to become a JSB Insider. It's a couple bucks a month. You can either join here on YouTube or join on Patreon, whichever one you choose. You gain access to our world famous Johnny Says Boxing professional betting Discord. Click that link to find out more. If you've been paying attention, we've been covering fights all week, all throughout the world. We do have Australia that starts in less than 8 hours. If you're watching this right after I uploaded this, we have fights in Japan today as well. We have a Pro Box card. In this video, though, we're going to be talking about the big boys, the baddest men on the planet, the heavyweights in the UK. Manchester, England is the location. The world champion, Fabio Wardley, puts his belt on the line against a former world champion, Daniel Dubois. So in this video, what we're going to do is break down both fighters' careers. We're going to talk a little bit about how they go about their business. And like always, stay tuned to the end of the video. That's where I'll be going over the current Las Vegas odds, and I'll be telling you where to put your money. This was a fun one to break down. If you've been following along on the channel the last few years, you know who these guys are. At one time, Daniel Dubois was the baddest man on the planet. He's been a champion before. He's lost his belts, and he's trying to become a champion again. 2020 was the first time we saw him lose. Since 2020, he's fought 9 times. He's 6-3. He got stopped in 2020 against Joe Joyce, won a few fights in a row, fought Usyk, got stopped, won a few fights in a row, fought Usyk, got stopped. So this kind of what his career has turned into. If his last name isn't Usyk, his opponents usually fall. This guy is a technical, big puncher. He does a lot of things really well. He has extreme power in his hands. They don't call him dynamite for no reason. This guy has the type of power that could end fights on the spot, that could change the trajectory of a fight with one punch. The knock on Dubois historically since 2020, since I spoke about this, is when you're a front-running guy, when you're knocking everybody out, when you're undefeated, everything is going right. When we go through our first loss, when you see a fighter or your favorite fighter gets beat for the first time, maybe gets knocked out for the first time, questions will then arise, and these questions have stayed with Dubois since that Joyce knockout, since that first knockout to Usyk, and more recently, his last loss to Usyk. Where's his mind at? Can he come back from the dead? Is he one of these heavyweights that could only look great when things are going well, and when he's down, it's hard for him to psychologically overcome his demons? Well, in his opponent, Fabio Wardley, it's almost like the opposite. We've seen Fabio Wardley time and time again look kind of average, look kind of mediocre, be down on the cards, losing every moment of every exchange against Justis Huni, and boom, just like that, Fabio Wardley has fight-changing power. Fabio Wardley believes in his chances every time, every moment throughout the fight, no matter how much he's down. This is an undefeated guy. He has 1 draw. In his first pro fight, a 4-rounder many moons ago in 2017, he won a points decision. Guess what he's done since then? Knocked everybody out except for that 1 draw. And then when he got the rematch against Fraser, he knocked Fraser out. So the guy's power is real. His self-belief is real. He is always in a fight. We last saw him against Joe Parker. What did he do? Was losing some rounds, probably down on the cards, and then he stopped Joseph Parker. It's that Justis Huni fight for me. Why? It's because he didn't look good, didn't look great, but he never gave up on himself. And in the heavyweight division and in any fight, if you have self-belief, if you feel you're always in a fight, no matter what the scorecards say, you are a dangerous man, and both men come Saturday night are dangerous men. We will see where these chips fall. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at the challenger, Triple D, Daniel Dubois, and see what he's been up to in his career. Daniel Dubois is 22-3. Of his 22 wins, 21 of them come by way of knockout. Of his 3 losses, he's been stopped 3 times. Out of 1,631 fighters in the world at heavyweight, he's ranked number 4. He's fought a career total of 100 pro rounds and carries in the ring a 95% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as Dynamite, and the 28-year-old Brit is a 6'5" Orthodox fighter with a 78-inch reach. He was born and raised and lives in Greenwich, London, United Kingdom. We last saw him fight Usyk the 2nd time, 23-0, got stopped in the 5th. Anthonyjoshua, 28-3, stopped him in the 5th. Filip Hrgovic, 17-0, won by stoppage in the 8th. Jarrell Miller, 26-0, stopped him in the 10th. Usyk the first time, 20-0, he got stopped in the 9th. That first Usyk fight, we replay it over and over, and finally I've stopped bringing up the video footage every time I cover Daniel Dubois, because after that fight, it was like, man, this guy looks like he stopped Usyk. You know, that body shot to me, and it's a hill I'll die on. I think it was legal. who knows where his career would have gone. We know it was deemed illegal, and we know he ended up getting stopped a couple rounds later. We've seen sort of this phenomenon occur in boxing when the one fighter has an amazing moment, and it looks like to everybody who's watching that that fighter won the fight, but then it's either deemed an illegal punch like Usyk, Dubois the first one, or a long count like Navarrete, Liam Wilson. If you remember, this is boxing though, and that's why it's so important to have a bulletproof mindset no matter how high the highs are or how low the lows are. And in a fight, if you find yourself questioning your mindset, your belief, your chances, things usually don't go too well for you. We've seen Dubois in between rounds questioning things before. We've seen him look amazing when he looks great, and we've seen him look sort of okay when he needs to look great, and that's a worry for me. On paper, this should be a Daniel Dubois fight, meaning that the amateur pedigree, what he does really well, his skill set, how he operates in a fight, his tools, his arsenal, all of that on paper should be Daniel Dubois, should beat Fabio Wardley. But we know boxing isn't what you see on paper. A lot of the things that happen in boxing are what's going on in between the ears, how each fighter is thinking, what each fighter could overcome, and at the end of the day, who is the toughest in a firefight? These are both massive men, 6'5", 6'6". Both guys are big boys. Both guys carry punch ending power in each hand. It's going to come down to who's the most durable, who's the most mentally fit, and who is the one who's willing to stand in the fire when those punches are being thrown, and who can take them. So it's going to be an interesting fight. Right now, let's look at the champion, Fabio Wardley, and see what he's been up to in his career. Fabio Wardley is 20-0-1. Of his 20 wins, 19 of them come by way of knockout. That one blemish, if you could call it, is a draw, which he ended up redeeming. Out of 1,631 fighters in the world at heavyweight, he's ranked number 3. He's fought a career total of 83 pro rounds and also carries in the ring a 95% career knockout to win ratio. He is the WBO World Heavyweight Champion. The 31-year-old Brit is a 6'5" orthodox fighter with a 78-inch reach. He was born and raised in Ipswich, Suffolk, United Kingdom. We last saw him fight Joe Parker, 36-3, stopped him in the 11th. Justin Sunni, 12-0, stopped him in the 10th. Fraser Clark the second time, stopped him in the first. Fraser Clark the first time, it was a draw. David Adelaide, 12-0, stopped him in the 7th. What jumps off of the paper to me, we know the stories of Fabio Wardley not having an amateur background. We know how he was a recruiter in the UK, how he took up white-collar boxing and then built a career 10 years later from just punching on with the boys in front of his mates selling tables to being a world champion, defeating legit world champions. What jumps off the paper for me is you have a draw in a back-and-forth nip-tuck fight in an 8-rounder, and you get it back, you win by an early knockout. That first fight was a tough fight. The last two victories, Justice Sunni, 11th round stoppage. Joe Parker, 11th round stoppage. What does that tell you? That tells you that this kid has ultra belief in his power. He has been adding things to his game in terms of setting punches up. When you watch his fights, everything doesn't come at one angle anymore. It's not as predictable as it used to be. His game is getting a little bit more diverse. He's a great athlete. His backhand is great. He's going to be against the odds, though, in my opinion, of skill set, pedigree, experience. I feel Dubois at his best should be able to trick Fabio into some exchanges. Will Dubois use his fight IQ against Wardley, or will it just be two big guys trying to fight each other's egos? We will know come fight night in a few days in Manchester, England. If you're not excited about this, you might not have a pulse. Guys, before I give you my prediction and go over those current Las Vegas odds, I do live streams every day. In those live streams together, I take your questions, so it's another benefit of becoming a JSB Insider. You get featured on the live streams. We go over our long parlays, underdogs of the week. We cover the UFC fights. Every single fight, we go over them. In these edited Stats Don't Lie videos, you're only going to get my moneyline prediction. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, let's pull out our betting apps. Currently on the money line, the bookies literally see this how I see this, almost a true blue 50-50 fight. Fabio Wardley does have the edge in terms of being a slight favorite on the money line. 100 on him gets you your money back plus 86 bucks. Dubois is a plus 107, meaning 100 on Daniel, you get your money back plus $107. So on the money line, Daniel Dubois is the dog. plus money. We're always looking for underdogs here. For me, when I think about where I'm putting my money, and this isn't just this fight, this is how I look at every fight. I have to think about the psychology of each fighter. My undergrad, I have a bachelor's in psychology and sports psychology. It's a very important marker in boxing. You have to go on what you've seen from fighters in the past, what you haven't seen. The thing I've never seen was Fabio Wardley doubting himself no matter what, no matter who he's up against, and I'm betting on him to win this fight. I think it's going to come down to a mental edge. All the physicality, we talked about the height, we talked about the reach, everything's the same. The knockout to win ratio, everything's the same. The only thing that's different is Wardley's never lost, never been stopped, and Dubois has lost and been stopped 3 times. So we know that this is not an echo chamber. I'm going all in. I feel at the end of the night we're going to hear "and still" for Fabio Wardley. In the comments section below, just like in the Discord, it's torn 50-50. Just so we have your receipts, all of you Daniel Dubois fans, put your name, comment below. Let me know if you like Dubois. Let me know if you like Wardley. Also, if you're feeling froggy, how is this fight going to end? Also, guys, there's fights tonight. I've broken down the Nikita Tszyu versus Oscar Diaz fight and the co-main Callum Peters versus Joshawn James. If you haven't seen those videos, stay tuned to the channel because that's coming up right now.